was purely established by the Southwest against the Fulani herders, Bodejo. We are back, as in, with election news and all that. I mean, Amotekun, Fulani herders. I mean, it's been a very long time we addressed these individuals. But we are back, resumption. The makeup of the Nigerian political Nollywood space. I mean, what is politics in Nigeria without, the tribal groups and the Fulani herders and bandits? We are back to how things were. The national president of Miyetti, Allah Kautal Alhaji Abdullahi Bello Bodejo, has disclosed that Amotekun was purely established by Southwest against the Fulani herders. According to the report from Sun newspaper, Alhaji Abdullahi Bello Bodejo said this while reacting to the question asked about what happened to the plan of his association in setting up vigilantes across the country about 2 years ago. He said it is still on. It was muted at the time the Southwest set up Amotekun, a security outfit, which they said was to protect their people. But it was not true. Amotekun was purely established against Fulani herders, so under Miyetti Allah, we wanted to form our own vigilante group that would protect herders and their cows. Interesting. It was proved to be true that Amotekun was just after the herdsman. We are still in the process of finalizing it, and by the grace of God, on or before November, it would take off. We are back. I mean, the Fulani herders are going to make their own group. Fantastic. Go for it. It's just the decay of our country, to be very honest. I mean, within the whole ethnic and tribal wars, we are still having this. And the thing is, the whole Fulani herder situation, like the powers that be that have the resources to really set a narrative straight, as in, if the security, because I feel like when we have conversations like this, we look at the ethnic we are focusing on such minor and micro conversations that really are the byproducts and effects of macro issues. If security in the state, in every state, especially in the South or everywhere in the country, if things were in order, we would not have this. If security was in order, the people would not think of making their own vigilante group because they have been left to defend themselves. And that is what happens, because it is literally a ripple effect of Nigerians always coming to their own rescue, because we don't hold the people in government accountable, and because the people in government have proven themselves never to care for the people provide water for themselves. At this point, they might as well provide electricity with the fuel. At this point, they provide their own healthcare, their own education. They go outside of the country. And now with our security, they are doing the same thing. How can you tell me, okay, fine, don't be stereotypical, Fulani herders, at some point, especially in the Southwest, causing mayhem? If there wasn't a killing here, killing there, killing here, killing there. And then you also and the Fulani herders thing, right? We understand it's a nomadic culture that is, still up till date, but we have progressed. And that's why I say with our people, we are so divided, and it's almost not our fault. Although, yes, the government sort of, can put narratives and people have stereotypes of each other. But when you look at the level of thinking, we are so divided. Because this whole Fulani situation, how did it start? You had these individuals with their herd going into different farmlands that they did not own, with the audacity and temerity to say that they are Nigerians and they can take their cows anywhere. So when people defend themselves like that, how do you feel? You had these people terrorizing owners of land in the Southwest. People own their private farmland, and then you have these individuals coming with their herds to eat crops, to destroy farmland. How does that make sense? Okay, this has happened. Why is it that you call on the security of the state, the governors of the state? They're unresponsive. They're not they're not proactive in solving these things. They don't do this. No. So the people are like, are we going to keep calling and depending on this government while we are dying? What do the people do? They take initiative, right? Amotekun is established. And now it's a thing where it's like, with Amotekun, was it, because it was a ripple effect, because in the Southeast as well, with this whole Fulani herders and bandits, what was it? was it there was another group in the southeast defending themselves aggressively, and I think there must have been a subdivision of Biafra. It starts with an N. It was a network of men. And so in the southeast, they were defending themselves. So the southwest was like, listen, we got to defend ourselves too. Hence Amotekun. But if in these regions, right, things would have been tackled and arranged properly, where security is tight, these individuals are held, are arrested, but for some reason, because they're Fulani herders from the north, it seemed like the South was not proactive in making sure that those that committed, these acts were not punished. So imagine how the people feel. We're like, you know what, at the end of the day, we have to defend ourselves. So this whole thing of Miyetti Allah trying to then make their own, it's like, and the annoying thing is a lot of groups who don't even have any political standing having to make decisions, especially northern groups, would say certain things, and with the audacity and with the rights to think that, they can, honestly, it's becoming a tit for tat situation. And that's why I say, when we look into it, we can't just talk about, how can they do that? They defend. No. Like, the result of things happening have come from, it's like a chain effect from what has happened before. I really don't, literally. Amotekun was purely established by the Southwest against criminals, this person has said, and no tribal coloration. Yes, it was. And why Amotekun was as active, especially at that time, was because the main issue at that time was Fulani herders. So they're thinking it's tribally motivated. But it's like, wait, they had to step in because the state security was not proactive and did not do their jobs. They had no choice. So the fact that you are in the wrong, right, instead of you as the body that represents herders to call out these herders, no, you take it personally. You take it as an identity attack that, they are coming for us. And it's like, what? You're doing the wrong thing. Like, you are going into people's farmlands and acting entitled and saying because you're Nigerian, your cows can feed there. Who thinks like that? Does that make sense? Listen, put what you think in comment section below and don't forget to like and subscribe.